I was never the kind of man who snoops, never had the urge to check her phone. I trusted her completely, blindly. That was the whole point of love, wasn't it? To hand someone your heart without holding back, believing they'd never crush it. But that night, something felt off, just enough to tilt my world on its axis. She was in the kitchen humming softly, moving around like everything was fine. Her phone lit up on the counter. I glanced just once. One name. That's all it took to pull the air straight from my lungs. Eli. The name she once swore was buried. A chapter closed. The ex who left scars, who she said taught her everything she didn't want. The man she said she healed from. And yet there he was, bold and bright on her lock screen at 8:43 p.m. I missed that version of us. I stared at it like I was watching the last second of a life I believed in. My breath caught. My body froze. My soul, mid-fracture. She walked. In moments later, casually, smiling, humming something soft like nothing was wrong. I smiled back. Pretending is easier when your heart is in shock. I didn't ask. Didn't raise my voice. Didn't throw the phone. I just disappeared. While she was in the shower, I packed a bag. Quietly, quickly, I left behind nothing but a short note. No explanations. No accusations. Some betrayals don't need confrontation. They don't need closure. They demand only silence. People say walking away is cowardice. But what do you do when staying would eat you alive? When looking into someone's eyes feels like a betrayal to your own soul? I didn't go far, just enough to fall off her radar. No calls. No social media. No forwarding address. I vanished. New city. New job. Small apartment. A different life. The first few weeks were hell. I kept checking over my shoulder. Half of me expected her to come knocking. The other half hoped she would. But she didn't. Eventually, I stopped. Hoping. It wasn't easy. There were nights I'd jolt awake, sure I'd heard her laugh in the dark. Mornings when I'd instinctively reach across the bed, only to find cold sheets and nothing but absence. But emptiness, I found, was better than betrayal. I started rebuilding. Slowly, painfully. I took up boxing. Gave up drinking. Switched to coffee with sugar. That part felt small, but somehow symbolic sweetness in a life I once let grow bitter. For the first time in years, I was choosing myself. Then, exactly 1 year later, on a Saturday just like any other, she walked into the cafe I visited every week. Her hair was tied back, her face pale, eyes swollen and red like she hadn't slept in months. She stood there, trembling, holding something in her hands. It was the note, crumpled, faded, but still intact. "I've read this 1,000 times," she said, voice so soft it nearly broke me. I froze. My hand hovered over my coffee cup. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. She sat across from me without asking. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. I deserved worse. She whispered, "I was stupid. I was weak. And I lost the only person who ever truly saw me." My jaw tightened. My chest felt like it was caving in. I wanted to scream, wanted to demand why, but my mouth stayed shut. She reached into her bag and pulled out her phone, opened her messages, showed me the thread. One message from Eli. Just one. She never responded. "I should have told you," she said, her voice cracking. "I didn't want you to think I still had feelings for him. I didn't. I just froze. I didn't know how to explain without making it worse. I stared at the screen. He had sent more. Apologies. Memories reaching out from his past. But she never replied. Not once. I didn't know what to feel. A year of silence. A year of blame. A year of believing something that never happened. I felt sick, guilty, angry, confused. But then I remembered something important. She didn't lie with her words. She lied with her silence. I waited. She said, "Every single day, I looked for you. Called everyone we knew. Checked hospitals, flights, everything. I couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe. You were just gone." Tears streamed down her cheeks, her voice raw. "But that's how I felt when I saw that message," I said quietly, like I didn't exist anymore. She nodded. "Eli was in therapy," she explained. "He was spiraling, and he reached out of nostalgia, not love. I should have told you, but I didn't, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. I believed her, or maybe I wanted to, Because no matter how much I tried to forget, I still remembered the way she held me when my father died, the way she kissed my forehead when I had the flu, the way she always made me feel like I was enough Evan, if only for a little while. She looked at me and asked, gently, is there any chance? Even just to talk, to start slow, coffee, a conversation. I didn't lie. I don't know, I said. Because how do you restart a heart that stopped beating a year ago? How do you trust someone whose silence felt louder than betrayal? She nodded. No begging. No tears. Just quiet acceptance. I'll wait, she said, even if it takes years, because for once, I'll choose to stay instead of run. Then she stood up and walked out. No scene, no final glance, just her, the door, and the soft chime that echoed behind her like a closing memory. I sat there for hours, staring at my cold coffee, remembering our laughter, our fights, our quiet balcony nights. I didn't know if I still wanted her, but I knew something for sure. She still had the same eyes, but they weren't the same. They were softer now, less certain, more human, more broken like mine. And maybe the broken people don't make a whole, but sometimes they understand each other in ways no one else ever could. If this story feels familiar, if you've ever loved, lost, and learned, just know this: not all love stories are neat or perfect. Some are quiet, some are paused, some wander for a while before they find their ending. Maybe this is one of those stories. Maybe it already was. Ask checked.